I mean, I'd say we were a bit nervous about it because, you know, maybe if you work with somebody who you admire a lot, you're going to kind of feel a bit awkward and maybe you won't speak your mind because you've got too much respect for this person or something. And I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted it to be a proper collaboration, you know. And but he's a man who, you know, there's a lot of rumours about him as well because he doesn't really go out and he hides away from the media attention. Then obviously, like, people have theories about him and you hear strange stories about him. And then I guess because the records that he's made in recent years have been quite extreme, people are, you know, want to know why that is, and they all have their own theory. But we just found him quite easy to get on with. He's quite a shy person, but he's not a strange person. And he seemed happiest when we were actually just recording something, when he could really get into doing some work. And I think it was very good for us because I think he was quite keen to do a good job. You know, it's not his job to be a producer. You know, it's the first time he's ever produced anybody else. So I think it was probably quite important to him to get it right as well. So that was a good feeling, you know, that he wasn't just doing it as a career move or something, you know. So and he was very encouraging to us in the studio because we decided to do it this way of just playing. Obviously, the trick to making it work was to get good performances of the songs, and he really helped us to do that. He was good at giving you little pointers of how to hold back on one bit and really go for it another bit or whatever, you know. So it was really good.
Yeah, you can work with some producers who live their lives a bit like pop stars are portrayed to, in that, you know, maybe they're wealthy or they can be quite decadent or sociable characters, and he's not really like that. Like Jarvis said, he was happiest when he was actually recording and trying to get the best out of the song, which was kind of how we felt when we wanted to make this album. So it's a bit a lucky accident in a way that his attitude was something I think we wanted to adopt whilst we were making this record, really.
Yeah, some producers just want to party all the time.
Which is fine, except if you're trying to make a record quite quickly, you can all be slightly disabled by that process, I think.
Yeah, it was. All the basic tracks, the bass, drums, quite a lot of the guitar, most of the keyboards all went down at the same time, and on one track the singing went down at the same time as well. So, on the track called Roadkill, because that song's quite fragile, and it seemed the way to get that across was to, I'm quite fragile. If I have to play the guitar and sing at the same time, my mind can't really concentrate on two things at the same time. So that gave it, that song's got a feeling that it might break down at any point, and that kind of helped with that. Well, I've been going out a lot. I've been going for a lot of walks. It just seemed, it seemed natural. In a way, in the spirit of wanting to make a simpler record, it seemed that everything had got a bit complex and a bit heavy on the last album that we made, and we knew that we wanted to move away from that, and we didn't know exactly how we were going to do that, but it seemed logical for me to kind of go back to more natural things, to try and make some connection with nature, which I don't know whether I have made a big connection with it. But maybe it's about getting in touch with something a bit more natural within yourself, you know, not like going and touching trees. But, you know, we all came from nature originally. We all used to have to live out in it, and obviously we don't now because we all live in cities, and we've lived in cities all our lives and everything. So in a way, nature is an alien thing to you. I know how to go into town, and I know how to find a record shop, and I know where to go to get a sandwich. But if I was stuck in a field, I wouldn't know which plants you could eat or which ones would be poisonous. If a mushroom was growing, I wouldn't know whether I could eat it or not. You know, I would be lost. And I thought that was kind of a bit strange. So I still wouldn't know whether I could eat a mushroom or not really, but I have learnt a bit more about it. I tend to try and get away from London at the weekend. I mean, at the moment I can't do it because my van's broken. But for quite a long time, every weekend I would just go out and explore somewhere. And it's just relaxing, you know, it's quite... It just gives you, I don't know, even just that you've got more space around you, you've got more physical space around you, that seems to give you more mental space in a way. So you can feel yourself kind of relax and your mind start to think about other things rather than, oh, I've got to go and pick up that from the dry cleaners on Monday or whatever. You know, things that you fill your life with normally on a day-to-day basis seem to kind of go into the background, and you think about more kind of fundamental things like, shit, it started to rain, how am I going to keep out of the wet or whatever.
If you go out into nature, you've got to go and do something. There's nothing, everything there is just kind of, it's there and nothing's going to happen unless you go and find something. Whereas in cities, it's very easy to be passive because everything is, you know, there's TV and there's entertainment, there's things that will just take your time up because that's how life in cities is. Doing things is not easy. Where I think out in the open, the onus is on you to go and find something out about it.